Special Counsel Robert Mueller now has a chance to question one of the key figures who has eluded him so far in his Russia probe, former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort. Manafort struck a plea deal Friday with prosecutors that requires him to cooperate fully, truthfully, completely, and forthrightly with investigators in any and all matters as to which the government deems the cooperation relevant. That includes being fully debriefed by prosecutors, handing over any relevant documents, testifying at any proceedings, and even participating in undercover activities. Mueller is likely to have a wide spectrum of questions for the former campaign chief, from his involvement in the infamous Trump Tower meeting where dirt on Hillary Clinton was promised to his intimate knowledge of Russian oligarchs with whom he has done business. The former FBI chief also is sure to have mined the trove of emails, bank records and documents already seized in his investigation for material to ask about. While it's unclear whether Manafort has damaging information on President Donald Trump, the plea deal opens a potentially rich vein of information for Mueller to try to tap. Manafort joined Trump's presidential campaign in March 2016 and was its chairman from May to August. The veteran Republican strategist has known Trump since the 1980s, when Trump was a client of his lobbying firm. He also long has had ties to other Trump associates, including the president's close friend Tom Barrack and political advisor Roger Stone, who Mueller is also investigating. Barrack and Stone advocated for Manafort to join the campaign. Perhaps the most important line of questioning Mueller will have for Manafort is what went on at a June 9, 2016, meeting at Trump Tower with a Russian lawyer and a Russian-born lobbyist. Mueller has been questioning other witnesses about what they knew of the meeting where damaging information was promised on Democrat Clinton. Trump's eldest son, Donald Jr., arranged the session and invited Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and Manafort. The meeting is of interest to Mueller because it could be a touchpoint between the Trump campaign and Kremlin-linked associates even as Russia was intensifying its efforts to meddle in the 2016 election. Mueller has sought interviews with other people involved in the meeting, including the London publicist who set up the gathering and the lobbyist who also attended, according to media reports. Mueller also has been asking witnesses about the crafting of a misleading statement about the meeting given to the New York Times. Manafort has never spoken publicly about what took place at the meeting. Trump Jr. and Kushner testified to Congress that the session provided no value and no damaging information was shared. They claim the Russian lawyer spent the bulk of the time talking about the Magnitsky Act, which imposed sanctions on a number of Russian oligarchs. Notes taken by Manafort on his iPhone and turned over to congressional investigators contain a number of key words and phrases related to that law. But the notes were ambiguous, and Manafort may be able to fill in the blanks. Mueller may also ask Manafort whether the Russians were discussed at a separate meeting on June 7, 2 days earlier, between several of the same people, including Manafort, Trump Jr., and Kushner. Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, told CNN on July 30 that the earlier meeting was on an unrelated subject. Manafort could also be a source of information about a change to the Republican Party's position on Ukraine made at the Republican National Convention in July 2016, where Manafort was leading the campaign's efforts to secure the nomination. Mueller has questioned witnesses about how the pro-Russia tweak was made to the party's platform during the convention. The original language proposed that the party commit to sending lethal weapons to arm Ukrainians fighting to fend off Russian aggression. That language was softened in the official platform to provide appropriate assistance to Ukraine. Manafort made more than $60 million working as a consultant in Ukraine for pro-Russian politicians before his time on the Trump campaign, according to court records. Manafort also figured prominently in the controversial dossier assembled by former British spy Christopher Steele. In it, Steele says Manafort managed a conspiracy between the Trump campaign and Russia and specifically used foreign policy advisor Carter Page as an intermediary to communicate with Russians. Trump and Republicans say the dossier, which was funded largely by the Clinton campaign and Democrats, was a pretext used to start the Russia probe now run by Mueller.